The Bucks are being picked by many to be the team to beat in the Big 11 in '85. Head coach Jack Kansas will count on big years from all Scholastic backs Bob and Bill Ruddy to spearhead the Dunmore attack.
I feel that our strength this year will be, of course, in our offensive unit with Bill and Bob Ruddy at our fullback and tailback spot. We have a very fine wide receiver in Jeff Viola and a fine quarterback in Mark Xenophon.
How about defensively this year? What do you got coming back? What does it look like for you?
Well, we feel we'll be very strong defensively. We do have to replace three fine young men that left that have graduated in our secondary, and I think that would probably be our biggest primary concern right now. And I think the big difficulty that we, as all small schools, have is the depth problem, and I hope that we can stay healthy, and then we should be in the thick of the Big 11 football race.
In game number 2, Dunmore was up 11-6 over Central late in the first half, and they threatened again when Mark Suma intercepted a Central pass at his own 45 and returned it to the Golden Eagles' 25. But the Golden Eagles stiffened, and 2 straight quarterback sacks by Doug Zellers pushed the Bucks out of scoring range as the half ended. Dunmore would salt it away, however, in the third period, going on a 14-play, 71-yard drive, all of it on the ground with Bob and Bill Ruddy doing the bulk of the work. It was Bob getting scoring honors. He goes over from the 3. Dunmore goes on to beat Central tonight 25-6.
At Dunmore tonight, the Bucks took a 14-6 lead into the locker room at halftime, and the second half turned into a defensive battle. Here, Riverside's Dave Frabel comes up with a great stop on Dunmore's Bob Ruddy in the backfield. Later, Riverside would threaten, but Dunmore's Van Chiavacci comes up with a stellar play of his own, intercepting the Tim Hahn pass at the Bucks' 2-yard line to stop this Vikings threat. Riverside would threaten again later in the final period. On 4th down, substitute quarterback Glenn Kempa finds Mike Oddie with a 21-yard pass, but it's ruled out of bounds, and Dunmore would hang on to their lead. The Bucks would finally secure the victory with just over a minute to go. Again, it was defense as Mark Xenophon snuffed out the final Riverside hope. The final was Dunmore 14, Riverside 6.
Well, I felt Riverside had a fine football team, and I didn't think we'd move the ball as well as we possibly had. And, of course, they got a fine football team. They played us very, very tough. And we're just happy to come out with the victory.
The Bucks go to 3-0 with the victory, while the Vikings lose for the first time this season.
At Dunmore, the unbeaten Bucks struck quick in the second half. Leading 14-6, Bob Ruddy drops the opening kickoff of the third period, but he finds the handle and heads straight up the middle, finding a big hole. He had one man to beat, made a nifty move at the 35, and was gone. 85 yards, and the Bucks lead Scranton Prep 21-6. The next time the Bucks had the ball, they moved to the Prep 15-yard line, where this 33-yard Harold McNaught field goal made it 24-6 Dunmore. After the two teams exchanged fumbles, Dunmore took possession one more time, and Bill Ruddy smacked the middle of the line and just kept going. A 30-yard run was Bill Ruddy's third score of the night. The Bucks rolled over the Cavaliers 31-13. They're 5-0, and they'll stay a step ahead of the rest of the teams in the Big 11. Jim, in tonight's Big 11 action, Dunmore goes to 6-0 on the season, and they keep their lead in the Big 11 Conference, while Valley View and West Scranton also matched victories, and they remain tied for second place in the conference. We have highlights from all three games tonight in the Big 11, and we'll start with the contest between Dunmore and Mid-Valley. In game number 1 tonight at Dunmore, the Bucks against Mid-Valley. And Dunmore gets the early break when the Spartans fumble the football. The Bucks recover at the 50-yard line, and that would lead to their first touchdown of the night. It came just 3 plays later when Mark Xenophon on the option pitches to Bob Ruddy, and as he's done so many times this season, Ruddy breaks the big one. 50 yards and the touchdown. With just over 3 minutes gone in the game, Dunmore had a 7-0 lead. The Bucks would add to their lead the next time they touched the football, going 65 yards in 8 plays, with Bill Ruddy's 27-yarder the big play. Bob Ruddy would get scoring honors once again going over the right side. Dunmore is 6-0 after a 35-0 win tonight against Mid-Valley.
Trailing 7-0 in the first quarter, the Comets put a drive together behind the power running of Jeff Gentiloti. But on 4th and 2 at the Dunmore 26, the Bucks defense stuffed the play in the middle. That shut the drive down and took over the football. Dunmore then gave the ball to Bill Ruddy, and he did the rest. A great power run to the Comet 44. One more time, the give to Ruddy, and he rips off 12 more yards to the Abington 32-yard line. Then Ruddy caps off the drive. He roars through a gaping hole on the left side and rolls 32 yards for the score. And the Bucks of Dunmore went on to knock off Abington Heights 28-0.
Jim, 2 games very important in the Eastern Conference Northern Division playoff races played tonight. One in Class A, of course, up at Peckville, where Dunmore played Valley View. The other was at Dunmore, where Scranton Prep hosted Riverside, 2 teams battling for a Class B playoff berth. We have highlights from both of those games. The big one at Peckville tonight. Valley View trailed Dunmore 9-0 with a minute left in the first half when Gary Cruciani on the bomb finds Jerry Prosciutti behind the Dunmore secondary. 55 yards later, the Cougars were back in it, trailing at halftime 9-6. Turnovers hurt Valley View tonight. On their first possession of the third period, Jerry Prosciutti on the sweep would pick up 10 yards, but he fumbles the football and Dunmore recovers. 7 plays later, on 4th and 4 from the Valley View 17, a great fake by quarterback Mark Xenophon, who then hits Harold Magnotta in the end zone for the touchdown, and the Bucks led 15-9. Valley View struck quickly on the ensuing kickoff, taken by Rick Kovac deep in his own territory. He breaks the big return, bringing it up the far sideline before Bob Ruddy made a touchdown-saving tackle at the Valley View 46. 2 plays later, Kovac with a run up the middle and a marvelous second effort. He breaks into the open, 35 yards for the touchdown, and with 5 minutes left in the third period, Valley View was back in it, down 15-12. Midway through the fourth period, another turnover spelled disaster for Valley View. Jim McCormick fumbles the football. The Bucks recover at the Valley View 35. With Bill Ruddy doing the bulk of the work on this 1-second effort carry, the Bucks move the football inside the 5 to go first and goal at the 2. And 2 plays later, Bob Ruddy goes over the top for the clinching touchdown. The Bucks secured a 23-12 victory and an 8-0 record. Coach Jack Henses.
Our kids played a hell of a football game, and so did they. And they should be proud of their kids just as well as we are. And it was the turnovers that made the difference.
So there's still one more day left to play in weekend number 8 in the Big 11, but the playoff picture a little bit more clearer for Dunmore tonight, as they are now in the driver's seat and in control of their own destiny, while in Class B, Scranton Prep stays alive with their big win over Riverside tonight. With the story in the Big 11 in the Scranton newsroom, this is Sid Michaels. Jim? Jim, a week ago, all eyes were on Dunmore as they firmed up their position for the Eastern Conference Class A Northern Division Football Championship. Tonight, all eyes were on West Scranton as they try to firm up their position for an Eastern Conference Northern Division Class A wildcard spot. And both weeks, the opponent was Valley View. That was one of 3 games on tonight's schedule. We'll start our highlights with the contest between the Dunmore Bucks and the Scranton Tech Red Raiders. Game 1 tonight, after they recovered a Dunmore fumble, Tech's Rico Williams took the pitch out, turned left, headed upfield, and exploded on a 45-yard run that put the ball at the Dunmore 3-yard line. 3 plays later, the Red Raiders stunned the unbeaten Bucks with a Brian Davis to Amos Kendrick's touchdown pass that ended 6-0 Tech. Dunmore took the ensuing kickoff. They went 34 yards in 6 plays before they fumbled it away at the Tech 26. But the next time they got their hands on the ball, it took them 5 plays and 44 yards to score, with Bob Ruddy getting scoring honors from the 13. Bob and Bill Ruddy both went over the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the season tonight. The Bucks went to 9-0 with the win over Tech. Two 1,000-yard rushers on the same football team is rare. Two 1,000-yard rushers on the same team that are also brothers is almost never. But that's just what the Dunmore Bucks have in number 43 Bob and number 37 Bill Ruddy. The identical twins have made their impression not only on Dunmore football and on the entire Big 11 Conference, but also on each other.
It's a good feeling because you always have somebody back there that'll do the best for you, and you're always competing against them. So that'll make you a better football player, just like it'll make him. You know, we're close and we help each other, you know, at home and stuff like that. But we'll yell at each other every now and then, letting each other know that one did a wrong move or something, you know.
And they work very, very hard at it, and they do a lot of running in the summertime, and their main interest, of course, is playing football, and that's their big concern. They do things so very, very well, and as I mentioned they just have a lot of athletic ability.
It's only natural that Bob and Bill have always been competitive, from midget football right through high school.
There's a little bit of competition, but we're more close. We root for each other, let each other know we're right behind each other. We've always tried to get more yardage than one another and try to make more tackles than the other.
It's something that I don't know if anyone in the country has ever had something like this. And we have 2 boys that are twins that have scored 1,000 yards and made it on the same evening, which I think is almost unique, and we're just so happy for them. I know this is what their dad wanted, and we're just so happy. I know Jim's looking down on us right now and saying, boy, I'm just so proud of them.
In number 43, Bob Ruddy and his teammate brother Bill Ruddy, the Dunmore Bucks have something unique. It's something that may not be the same anywhere else in the country, and it's something that won't be the same here at Dunmore when these 2 kids graduate. Sid Michaels, Eyewitness Sports.
Jim, on this final Friday night of action in the Big 11, all eyes, of course, were on Scranton Memorial Stadium, where the West Scranton Invaders had to beat the Riverside Vikings to advance to the playoffs as the Class A wildcard team. But there was also an important story unfolding down in Old Forge, because that's where the Dunmore Bucks were trying to win the outright Big 11 championship. They were trying to complete their first ever 11-0 season, and they were trying to run their unbeaten streak to 14 games over 2 years. We have highlights from both those games, and we'll start with action from the game in Old Forge. With several starters out with injuries, the Bucks had their hands full with Old Forge tonight. Mark Senefont is sacked by the Devils' Joe Slusark on this play. It forced Dunmore to give up the football in Old Forge territory. The next time the Bucks had the football, 11 plays covered 55 yards, with 31 Mike DiNapoli and number 43 Bob Ruddy doing most of the work in the drive. That march was capped by Bob Ruddy's pretty 15-yard touchdown run that made the score 6-0. The Bucks would complete their unbeaten Big 11 title-winning season tonight. Their unbeaten streak is now 14 games, and they'll face Williamsport next Saturday in the Eastern Conference Class A playoffs. Dunmore's first scoring drive covered 32 yards. It started late in the first period and was keyed by this fourth down run by Bob Ruddy that kept it going. On the first play of the second period, Ruddy broke loose for a 15-yard touchdown run, and the Bucks would never look back after taking that 7-0 lead. Dunmore held the Invaders on 3 downs and then took over again, this time going 50 yards to score. The big play, a Mark Xenophon to Jeff Viola pass, which took the ball to the 4-yard line. 3 plays later, it was Bob Ruddy again going in, and with 7.5 minutes left before intermission, it was 14-0. West got into Dunmore territory just once in the first half, and they were just inside midfield, but the march ended when Xenophon picked off this Bobby Kennedy pass at the 12-yard line, and the Bucks ran out the clock to halftime. On their second possession of the third period, Ruddy went into the end zone for the third time on this great 41-yard run up the middle. He broke tackle after tackle on his way to the touchdown that made it 20-0 Dunmore. West would then try to get back in the ball game on their next possession. They went from their own 27 all the way to the Bucks' 9. But on 3rd down and 8 from that point, Kennedy drops back to pass. He has all day to find a receiver but can't find anyone open. He scrambles, and finally when he throws, the pass is intercepted by Xenophon at the 1 to snuff out any hopes the Invaders had of winning this afternoon. Bill Ruddy would then cap the Bucks scoring with a 9-yard run late in the ball game. Dunmore wins the Eastern Conference A title, beating West Scranton 27-8.
I thought it was a great performance by our entire football team. Bobby's a great football player. Billy's a great runner. They're just, we're going to miss them so much. But Mark Xenophon did a super job for us today, and our entire offensive line did a super job blocking those people. And I thought, really, when you come down to it, they really didn't score on our number ones. Our kids did a great job, and we're just so thrilled with them all year.
The Dunmore Bucks capped their perfect season, winning their 13th game against no losses. West falls to 10-2. Dunmore scored on the very first play of the second period when Bob Ruddy crossed the goal line from 15 yards away. It was 7-0 Dunmore. The next time the Bucks had the ball, they went 50 yards with a Mark Xenophon to Jeff Viola pass the big play, moving the ball to the Invaders' 4-yard line. From there, Bob Ruddy again scored, this time from 3 yards away. It was 14-0 at halftime. Third period, Ruddy would score for a third time when he broke several tackles on this run up the middle. 41 yards for the touchdown. It makes it a 20-0 ball game. After the ensuing kickoff, West threatened moving to the Dunmore 9-yard line, but the Bucks would put an end to any Invader hopes when Xenophon intercepted this ball at the 1-yard line. Then late in the game, Bill Ruddy caps Dunmore scoring with a 9-yard run. The Bucks complete their perfect season as Eastern Conference champions.
It was just great, and I always wanted to win this for the people of Dunmore, right here in our own field, because this is a great community, a great deal of pride, and they stayed with us all those years. We've been here before, and things have just gone our way, but we're real happy for it, and God was extremely good to us this year.
These kids, they won 11 ball games. They played a great season, and like I said before, you come this far, there were no losers out there on the field. But I do want to congratulate Dunmore and their staff for a great game, a great championship.
Dunmore finishes at 13-0. The Invaders' fine year ends at 10-2.
Than it was last week. Last week was very cordial, and I think very sociable type of traditional game, and I think that when the dust settles, that Jim called West Scranton Westside Tech for half the season and didn't know where Dunmore was.
Coach Hens has told us throughout the year, no matter who comes out of
The coaching and the great league that
Attorney Jacksonville is also really covers the Big 11, Sid Michaels.
First of all, Joe Zone wants to thank the decorators because now he knows the team colors. And by the way, if you think that's bad, Jim called West Scranton Westside Tech for half the season and didn't know where Dunmore was until tonight. You know when it's Joe, is somebody? I just want to say